From an entire continent to a slew of bosses, old school RuneScape has expanded the world of Gielinor a lot over its decade-long life, and I'm here to see all of it. From a fresh main account, we're gonna complete every quest, and fight every boss, and hopefully get rich while doing so. This is Building a Main, Old School Edition. Last episode, we had a bit of an accident while doing Monkey Madness. However, thankfully, getting back to this remote island isn't too bad as long as you remember to leave behind in your bank some runes to teleport to Varrock. Which, unfortunately, I didn't. However, one quick jailbreak later and we recover all our stuff and get back on with the quest. However, this time I actually remember to pray melee against the tiny little scorpion that massacred me last time. And it's a good thing that it is quick to get back here, because the amount of times you end up teleporting off this island because you end up in weird places is quite a bit. In my case, it was almost as many times that I ended up getting myself thrown back in jail. While getting thrown in jail over and over again might be a time waste now, what will save us some time later is getting a gorilla bone and a ninja monkey bone, as well as a zombie bone down in the tunnels for making the gree-grees for Recipe for Disaster. And while I'd love to say a quick demon fight later we completed the quest, the reality is, at a low level, this quest is just fishing for a last hit. If you don't do the most damage or get the last hit, the demon will heal to like 33 health, so we'll just keep going over and over and over again until we finally get the last hit and complete the quest. 41 hit points. Gained so much health off that. Now that we've got the ability to wield dragon scimitars, we actually need the level to do so. So we kick off our Slayer grind by doing the Museum Basement. This gives you a little jump start to 9 Slayer and 9 Hunter, and then we pick up with some Slayer tasks. As much as I'm a big proponent for training your combat via Slayer, I have to admit these XP rates aren't exactly the most incredible. There's a certain balance to strike between having the levels and gear to actually have the accuracy to do Slayer, versus leaving it too late and wasting a bunch of combat XP training the last few levels of Slayer. Currently, I feel we're a bit on the early side of things and would probably benefit from just fighting something with lower defense until we actually have our Dragon Scimitar. So with the Slayer grind on hold, I decided to start working on some other useful unlocks that will come in handy for the account, especially when we pick that Slayer grind back up. The first of these is Fairy Rings. To use Fairy Rings, you need to start Fairy Tale Part 2 and get up to the point where it tells you to use them. However, you do not need to complete Fairy Tale Part 2, and you actually don't need any of the level requirements of the quest to get to that point where you can use Fairy Rings. This means you only need to complete Fairy Tale Part 1 and get the level requirements for that. The most obnoxious one for us is the crafting requirement, so we're knocking out a bunch of quests that give crafting levels. For those who don't know, there was actually a change in RS3 where in order to accept a quest, you actually need all the level requirements for that quest. That means you need all the requirements for Fairy Tale Part 2 in order to unlock Fairy Rings over there. Admittedly, that matters a lot less with lodestones, but it's still a weird discrepancy. There we go, crafting, hit points, defense XP, and nature spirit done. So next requirement is Lost City, which I need to do get 31 crafting for, so that sounds like it's time to do Murder Mystery. It's actually incredible just how fast Quest Helper makes this. Even when you know what to do for the quest. You don't need to look, you don't need to think, you don't need to, like, read. You just follow the blue light.
Something's wrong, I feel it circling like vultures around my brain. Couldn't see this danger in your eyes. Draw me in, got me spinning.
It sold for like 41k though. Yeah, that quest just made me like 45k. Everyone needs a good AFK activity, and our early choice for that was sand crabs. They require you to run away every 10 minutes to reset aggro, and that's it. There's a bunch of good spots for these, much better than rock crabs used to have. And their next to non-existent defense makes them the perfect candidate to train on while we're going for our Dragon Scimitar. So 1 day of AFKing these later, and there we go. I'd say nostalgia, the HD plugin kind of kills the nostalgia factor a tad, but that is one heck of a setup for early game. This is like day 3 on the account, so I cannot be mad about the progress we've made at all. And while I should probably go back to Sandcrabs until we start streaming today, I actually want to start working on agility, because if I keep putting it off, I'm never going to do it. And getting the graceful outfit in old school actually seems like a really big deal, so I should probably start on that. So the first course we're going to be starting with is the Varrock agility course, and then at 40, I think we move over to Canifis. I don't know if it's worth going straight over there or getting a few extra levels to bump your success rate. Guess we'll figure that out. So yeah, in old school, the rooftop agility courses give these things called Marks of Grace, which you can trade in for an outfit that gives weight reduction and run energy restoration, I believe. So training agility is actually rewarding other than just giving you XP, which is kind of nice. I still am not a huge fan of agility, but actually working towards upgrades while doing it, gonna help quite a bit. After a bit of a training break, it was time to get back on the grind with the quests, starting with Lost City. I would use something better than Firestrike at this point, but I'm still kind of broke, if I'm going to be honest. I can make this so much easier on myself. There we go, much better. I can't remember how many extra branches I want, so I'm just going to grab 3. And then I mess up the easy bit of the quest. Just walk in a shed with the staff. And that's Lost City done. Hooray. Let's see how bad our item list is. They can't be awful on mains, because you could just buy stuff. A Mortmire pear and a Mortmire stem. Those are items I've never heard of before. Oh, okay, so they're just alternatives to Mortmire fungus. Oh, you hate spending money in any game, not just in RS? I've kind of just changed my perspective on stuff. Like, oh, money is there to be spent in RuneScape, is my opinion. Like, if you've got a cash stack, like if you're sitting on a 500k cash stack and you're like struggling through quests, just buy some stamps. Like the money's there to be spent. It will make your life better. Admittedly, that means I'm kind of perpetually broke when it comes to the game. So back in the day, did anyone ever manage to end up with an empty Acto file and get really sad about it? Because that was me. I'm pretty sure you just flinched this guy, so I'm not going to bother going and getting a shield or anything. Although my farming level is next to non-existent, so let's see how this goes. Wait, the little babies hurt. I definitely need to practice prayer flicking on something a little less lethal. I mean, Fairy Tale Part 1 done, so we get some magic sectors and up to 17 farming. Beautiful. So now, Fairy Tale 2. I don't believe I need any of the level requirements to get to the point of being able to use fairy rings, right? Wait 5 minutes. Do I have anything to do for 5 minutes? Why, yes. Yes, I do. I must have messed this up. Okay, there we go. Okay, now we're at a stage I can't do because I don't have the thieving level. So that's fairy rings unlocked. I don't think I need this anymore. Now that we've started getting some farming levels, it's time to pick up with our tree runs. We can only grow oak trees for now, and we can't grow a fruit tree of any kind, but the goal for now is 32 farming. At this point, we can grow ranars, and ranars make huge profit per hour for this stage in the game. Admittedly, they've got a bit of a steep buying cost because the seeds are 20k each, but you're looking at hourly profits of 150k plus, and at this stage of the game, sustaining those will make us absolute bank. The next thing on our list for upgrades for Slayer is a Netisnot helm. You get this helm from doing the Fremenic Isles, which requires the Fremenic Trials, which in turn requires you to acquire a lyre. Now, there are 2 ways to get a lyre. You can either get all of the quest requirement levels, or you can engage in a good old bit of, I'm pretty sure this is illegal in some parts of Gielinor, but the local residents do drop a lyre for those who are lacking in the required levels. Can't I just make it? In order to make it, you need 25 fletching and 40 crafting, neither of which I have. I can't believe it takes an elite diary to not need the stuff. Saving money is the spice of life? No, spending it is the spice of life. You just gotta make sure that spending it causes you to make more. I'm almost done with a quarter of the quests. Admittedly, it's all the shorter quests. I should probably get a foot pedal for old school then, I guess. Since my wrists are a bit more valuable to me than my feet. Not that I would be happy to lose either appendage. Yeah, I will always take the lesser RSI method, even if it is a bit less XP. My day job is a software engineer, so if it ever becomes painful to use a keyboard, then I'm in trouble. I have no idea how far I am through this. I think I've got like 2 more steps. I literally just turned my brain off and just followed the blue arrow. It's great. So in RS3, we cheese this fight by taking a pickaxe off of our tool belt. Over here in old school, it seems like a good way to do it is just use a spare Draymond branch to make a Draymond staff, and use that to bonk Crochet over the head a bunch. Worked pretty well here. Here we go, Fremennik Trials done, and a bunch of XP gained. 27 fishing, 24 thieving, 35 crafting, 23 fletching, 47 woodcutting. I need 20 construction, and one and a tiny bit more agility levels. In order to get our construction level up, it was time to try out mahogany homes. The idea of mahogany homes is you get more XP per plank, but it's a bunch slower because you have to keep running around everywhere. So cheaper, which is great for me, but a bit slower and you need to use some teleports. I'll take that trade-off right now. 2 wooden cabinets built. Oh, okay, I see. So the reds are remove and build. Right, tool belt is not a thing in old school. I now see why Waydot's group was called tool belt, please. Oh wait, that gave me like 3 levels actually. And it refills your run energy every time you do one. Have I played Barbarian Assault yet? Any plans to get a torso? Like before Barbarian Assault, I would wager get Nezzy Helm, Defender, Desim, and that should be 20 construction. 1 energy refill later. Now I just need 1 more agility level. Well, this is the last lap, and then we can go do Fremy Isles. I should probably buy more prayer potions before going there, though. I remember the trolls hitting, like, absolute trains. So, I'm not taking any chances with those. I need to buy some stuff from the G if I don't have the levels. Well, I kind of wish I had 1 prayer potion. Can I scrounge together enough for a single prayer pot? This either goes perfectly fine or terribly, and I'm not really sure which one yet. I keep forgetting this isn't open. There's like in RS3, there's just an entryway here. There's not an agility shortcut. Oh god. They hit 13s. I'm really hoping that 1 prayer potion is enough for this. Oh no. I should have put that on before I went across the bridge. Now I need to hide my beard so I don't have to pay a tax. Oh. Maybe just 1 dose of it. If you're having issues with quest supplies as much as I am, then make sure when you have a couple spots open, you come and get the prayer potions and the food off of this guy. It only gives you tuna, which is not the best food in the world, but it's free. Wait, what the? Wait, use the protect from magic prayer. I did not realize that he used magic. I should have read this before I assumed I knew what was going on. Actually, I'm probably better off just taking the fairy ring back up. I'll only get just clobbered for a random, like, 17 melee or something. Apparently the Yak Hide armor does nothing in that fight, by the way. Against the Troll King specifically. I kind of hoped this would let me pick ranged, but we'll just gain a big chunk of defense XP. 10k woodcutting, 5k crafting, 5k construction. The construction's nice. But the Helm of Neot is not, is the real real reward of that. Once I can wear it, actually. After almost getting my butt kicked by yet another quest, I decided to take on one just a little bit easier. That being Horror from the Deep. The rewards from Horror from the Deep are actually quite nice for this stage of the account. It gives a bunch of ranged XP, and early ranged is an absolute nightmare to train. And it also gives us access to the damaged books, which we can then add pages to turn into the god books. The one we're interested in specifically is the Zami book, or the Unholy book. This gives a bunch of attack stats to all the styles, not the best for any specific style, but a good all-round one, and until we get a Dragon Defender, it will be our offhand for training melee. And on the note of training melee, that's exactly what we went and did, and you can tell just how strapped I am for cash that I am literally looting the caskets. We went and got 60 attack, 70 strength, and 60 defense. Any guesses what these stats are for? Let me know down below. But otherwise, I hope you have a wonderful week, and I'll catch you again next time.